What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Artists in Depth podcast for episode number 35, as it is already. That's what we were talking about before. I'm in back in the studio with Emily Lopez for our, well, it's been a hiatus for a minute, but Coast to Soul Poetry.
That's not bad. That's sometimes necessary. Not for the events. The events go on.
Yes, they do. The events do go on. Sometimes we can't always get the poets. But in the studio with tonight's feature, Flynn, Donovan.
Hello.
What up?
What up?
Fantastic. Actually, one of the first people I met on the island coming down here after my pops moved down here.
Yeah.
Especially because of skateboards.
Amen.
Skateboarding. Really
brings us all together.
Absolutely. One big global family.
That's right.
So, and actually, the first art show I was ever a part of in Galveston, I have the flyer up here.
Oh yeah.
That one. Yeah, my cousin Beacon was doing some DJing in between.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, that's the first time that my first impression of Flynn was you performing.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was super cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we also talk about that. It's the first time I met Clark too, and he didn't have a beard.
It's strange. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, dude, it was super strange. He was he was getting kind of pissed off at my cousin because he was playing all dubstep and stuff. And he's like, "Man, can you play some Allman Brothers or something?"
Oh wow, that's so Clark.
That sounds about right.
Dude,
yeah.
It was so funny.
Wow.
It was so funny. So I guess we could just jump into what got you started making your music, because it's got, I see like the hip hop essence, but it's very unique.
Right.
Like it's really cool. How'd you get started doing that?
I mean, I think it all is based around skateboarding. I mean, that's how I got into music. I initially punk rock, as a kid, and I wanted to play guitar, but I soon realized that I was terrible at that for whatever reason. I wasn't linked up in the brain like that, and so I just started writing, and we I guess about 92 through Columbia House or something, my brother got Dell's first album called I Wish My Brother George Was Here, and I'd heard Run DMC and I'd heard all that stuff, but I'd never heard Dell. I'd never heard that type of lyricism before. And it just kind of set me off on that path. And then basically watching skate videos, you get like the lowdown on all the latest hip hop,
Absolutely,
all the latest music, or all the stuff that formed my opinions on music today. So I would say skateboarding is my main reason for making music.
Absolutely,
just because there's so much cool stuff around it, and it was the first time I'd ever been a part of something that was all inclusive. Like, these three sisters got me a skateboard, my first skateboard, and they took me skating for the first time. They took me to my first concert, which was the Pixies. So all this stuff was, as a child, kind of related or intertwined to me. So naturally, I felt like I had to make music because it was just part of the love of skateboarding.
Yeah.
As strange as that sounds.
No, absolutely. That's where I heard some of my favorite songs that I have, from some of my favorite skate parts I've watched.
Right, exactly.
And as a kid, my first game that skateboard game I got was Pro Skater 2,
right?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's also why I got that board. Actually, that's my first skateboard I've ever got. That Tony Hawk one up there.
Oh wow.
That came out with the game. That same board is in the game. Like in Pro Skater 2, you can get that same graphic. It was around that same time.
What is that, 99, 2000?
Yeah, it's like, I think Pro Skater 2 was maybe 2001.
Yeah, okay.
But just like the whole soundtrack of that game, because I played it so much, those are my favorite songs.
And it becomes an introduction for you looking up other stuff, you know what I mean? And it just rabbit holes you down. That's how skateboarding's always been to me.
Oh, yeah.
Launch pad for anything creative.
Man, especially nowadays, man, with how creative the skaters are getting.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone checks it out on the internets, but kids are just dumb good with the skateboarding.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand a lot.
My 8 and 9-year-old impressed the hell out of me.
You see that?
How they do any of that shit.
That GX 1000 video where those dudes are just bombing those huge hills in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, do one trick and then go.
Yeah, like I love how they pan out too, because they'll zoom all the way in on him.
Yeah.
and he just like throws like this kickflip that's like super super sick.
Yeah.
But they pan out. It's just like this monster
Like,
hill
oh crap! Yeah.
that they're bombing on like.
Yeah, we don't have hills like that.
No.
We have like 81st Street.
And your son skates just like you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He just
I
had
bet
his.
that was something watching like growing up and y'all's relationship and that being.
Well, yeah,
somewhat
I kind of
part
forced it down his throat as a child because I just had so many skate videos, and then of course he went and played football, and I was like, shit, I might have gone too far. So, but then about 14, he was like, I really want to skate, and I was like, all right. And
All right, cool.
It's just been like that.
So he started doing it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Maybe you expected.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was like, dude, I'm gonna have this kid like jumping downstairs at 6, but nah, he's just, and I couldn't be that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to let him do whatever he wanted to do, and I love that he played football. That was cool.
And maybe got him used to some slams
yeah,
early.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so now he loves it, and that's all. I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, as a dad, you want to have that kind of bonding experience with your son, and like playing catch, and we've always had skateboarding. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I first got into it, my dad would always he had his board.
Yeah.
And he actually still to this day commends himself on his tic tac. I don't know. I mean, he's good, man. He can whip around on the thing still to this day, man. But he used to, he taught me that.
Ask him about that.
Yeah, and ask him about that's his board too, right under it. That's the board he used to skate, and I used to skate the one right above. He painted the bottom of that one himself. He's got that same tattoo on his arm. He just like painted it.
You get the A-front stickers on.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony Correa. Yeah, man. That was my favorite place to go. My dad's bar was like his bar was it's O'Malley's here.
Yeah.
But in Houston it was Dark Horse.
Oh, okay.
Right next door. So, because he was a
Yeah.
Dark Horse, and he wanted to hang over there, and I was bored. He was like, "Oh, go hang out at the skate shop next door." So I used to hang out with Anthony, and then we'd play like skate.
Hell yeah.
They had skate on the PlayStation.
That's cool, man. I haven't
They
seen that sticker in a minute.
they let me dig around in their junk pile and take home like busted decks or
Yeah.
something, or it was just cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so but skateboarding has always been big for me with just the expression too, because I didn't really I wasn't good at sports or anything.
Right.
I was kind of a fragile kid in a way. Cause I just like art. I just like to draw and just play video games.
Right.
And skateboarding was my sport because I could just go do it myself.
Right.
I didn't need, but once I hit my first community of skaters, I also realized that a lot of skaters I know have some type of artistic expression that comes with it, and then that's really cool that you said that was a big catalyst for it.
Yeah, and then like you said, you grow up, and I was the weird art kid in school too, but skateboarding was like this. It was so anti-sport. It was you could do it drunk and nobody wins, so you just have fun,
Yeah,
and that's the best part of it. And,
absolutely.
And but then and then to get back to your question, I guess I started listening to hip hop, and then a guy from L.A. moved down here, and it was my senior year at Ball High, and he was super into Souls of Mischief and hieroglyphics, the same, and we just started. Oh man, we were just freestyling into like headphones as microphones back then because we were so broke, and then we just started writing. And I mean, it's cringeworthy now. I still have some of those tapes, but it just came from that. I mean, I always liked writing. I just never thought of doing it in that way, because my dad was a writer, and so I just thought I'd be good at it, and I thought I was all right at it, but I never like recorded anything I said, and so then it became more important, like to listen to a lot of it and then try to, find your niche in it.
Mm-hmm.
Work your craft, and like because I had so many influences, Cool G Rap, you can't even.
I feel like when you get
the
Ultramagnetics, by all sorts of different artists, you have to find yourself in that. Not necessarily sound like somewhere in every song, little pieces or to other people.
Right.
You can get super stimulated. It's the same reading too many books
Yeah.
and writing like someone
Yeah.
that you write.
And I just figured if I listened to enough of everything, and at the same time I'm listening to Fire Hose and Minutemen and Black Flag and stuff like that, because all these musics evoke some sort of emotion that is beyond language, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you hear a song and it just gets you pumped and you don't necessarily know why. Maybe it's the momentum, maybe it's the tone. And I was floored by that, and I wanted to do something like that. Where I wanted to find what I was best at and try to make it, try to become good at it, hone your craft, or sharpen the sword, just whatever. And then luckily I had Mike, who's back then went by Task. He goes by Bird Like Bats. Sorry, but he was instrumental in just kind of taking me down that road, which of course was more skateboarding, graffiti. MCing, and he was a DJ, and then so we were just in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, man, that's also something that follows the like that pure artistic passion, especially when you find something that you like a new thing you're interested in, and especially to a certain degree, you want to figure out as much as you can about it,
right?
And like sometimes that gets you into shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
But,
yeah.
But it also just seems like you've been immersed in a lot of experience and kind of found your way through that.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. That's the thing is that I guess the whole time you're trying to get good at it, you don't realize how much it plays a part in your mental health. Just being able to vent and just being able to use it to get through tough times. Or, because... I guess when I got married and had Liam, like, it was just not something, making music kind of took a back burner because I had to, we were raising a son and, we both worked 2 jobs. And so I kind of put it down and I realized it was making me crazy not doing it. Mm-hmm. I always had skateboarding, but then there was this other side, which was a more emotional outlet or a mental outlet, like writing stuff down, and then I fell in love with performing it, and then so it's always like I constantly want to be better than I was the last time. I don't care about being the best or being or even making money at this. I just want to be better than I was the last time. And that's always the motivation. And I can't tell you how many times just performing has got me through, like when my mom passed, like that fucked me up. And I wasn't able to understand it, like it really, it kicked my ass. And I wasn't like cognitive of what was happening. I was just watching. It just felt like I was spiraling. And then I was just like, I really have to write. Just even if I'm just putting pen to paper, it's got to be, I'm trying to create something, even if
you got to get it out.
Right.
Sometimes writing will physically pull it out.
Right.
For you.
And it's a strange thing to just do that and then have it work out, because you're just like, I don't see how this is going to help, because I guess during that time I was just too logical about it. I was like, this isn't. Yeah. I'm going to end up on Xanax and talking to a therapist, but But I think you can just. When you have these things that are these outlets and you can use them, like it really like empowered me to get through this shit and stop being like just beat down by it.
I think it's like a form of self-care.
Yeah.
And self-care is one of the hardest things to do. You know, you can tell everybody you should do this or give the best advice on, if someone were telling you that they were feeling that certain way with their mental. But honestly, I think we're also just always the last people to take our own advice. And self-care is always my own advice. I'm trying to make sure I do it. And I kind of experienced the same thing when I gave birth and I was in mommy mode and had another son. I didn't realize till years later how many years I didn't really write. And I just grew up always doing it no matter what. And that was super detrimental to everything about me. And then by the time I got all into it and open mic kicked off a few years ago, my dad passed. And I was like, wow. And I was just, I was on this momentum. And then I just felt done. Yeah. And the regaining that is something that you think is never possible, and it does not happen unless you like reach for it and just like take yourself back.
Because it really is, like, especially when you lose somebody who's that big a part of your life, it's a crack in the foundation, and you don't necessarily see it immediately.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of unravels, but
I usually don't find it until the basement's flooded a bit.
yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and so it's I love writing and what it does for me, and I think it's my best way of being creative. You know, like, because I've always wanted to be creative. It took me a while to kind of figure out that this was it. You know, but now it's, you know, I'm just in love with. You know, I'm wondering about how tonight will go because I've never done.
I was gonna ask. I know, like, spoken word just
on
its own.
It's. I always get nervous, but you know that's a good thing. You got to scare the shit out of yourself.
Yeah, work that.
Oh man, like if you can find a way to channel that energy and use it, it's nice.
Yeah, but I was thinking today. I was telling Stephanie that it's nerve-wracking because a lot of this stuff is like, I write very abstract because I love the way words look together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so I don't know if, like, I like the visualness of, like, I used to take my favorite verses and write them down myself and just study them. Just because I think there's something in your head putting these words together, maybe not even just sonically. So I'm in love with the visualness of words, you know, like, it just, and so... It became important to me to write like that, and I just have never. I've always done it with music. I mean, I do acapellas here and there, and they're kind of aggravated and fast, and so I've been trying to like slow it down, and I don't want it to. I don't know. I'm just nervous. I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope that I can come across or get my point across. I guess I don't know.
I'm sure. I'm sure you will, man.
Yeah.
Because especially like the Coastal Soul Poetry crowd, and it's something we always talk about in all the episodes. We always come back to community at some point, and I think it'll be really cool that this is going to be something kind of different than what Coastal Soul's seen. Yeah. But then a little bit. You know,
I think every single person.
Every single one is different. Yeah.
Something different, and that's what's so amazing about it. And the community, you know, they're so intimate and interactive to an extent you don't see at very many open mics.
Yeah. That's what's cool. I think that's what gets a lot of people, like just a lot of the ones that have been coming for a while, and now they get on stage every single time.
Yeah. Right. It really influences.
Yeah, I think when they see all the different stuff.
That's cool.
Because there's been a couple features up there that, you know, someone could say was like cringeworthy, but in the sense of like, I'm not used to seeing this kind of performance.
Yeah, it's like shock value to some people.
But when it's really good, it's just like, man, because, you know, like when those comedian guys came, the guys they did
Space Rhyme.
They did the improv like.
Yeah, they're our next feature after him. I believe they're next. They're coming in Space Rhyme Continuum.
That's super rad. Yeah. Well, then we might get them on.
I'm excited. Yeah, no, they're about it.
They're down. Okay, then everybody stay tuned for that.
I'm
really glad I brought these guys up.
They're really, really great.
But when they got up there, you know, because I mean, you know, crowds are afraid of that. You know, like,
is so good.
Is the person on stage gonna call me out? Oh my god. Yeah. You know, people freak out about that. But when they did that, you know what? They brought
someone's mom.
Yeah, it was like this older woman, and CK Divine was up there, and this older woman, and they were doing like
just improv and hip hop, and it was like this crazy mix of stuff.
They did a hip hop. They did a compliment rap battle.
Oh, nice.
So they were like had to compliment each other.
Yeah.
And I think the older woman won, and the whole house was just like, whoa, because she was up there.
That's cool.
But it was super cool because when it first got up, you could tell people at first were just like, oh, because they're doing some like fun, corny stuff.
I think the aspect of it being an art gallery too is really intriguing in the way that it's just a whole nother different type of creative that I think a lot of writers do bring. Even like when it comes to merch, people have brought paintings instead of poetry. Omer brought those cards that said no, and on the back, you know, all these reasons.
He was writing insults and something.
Oh yeah, for $2 he was selling insults.
And compliments.
And it was great. And then Muhammad brought a clothing rack of, like vintage clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah, he has the secondhand threads or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's a
I didn't even think about bringing
secondhand scoops. There it is.
Shout out.
Yeah, but I think that'd be really cool, and it's also something kind of, I mean, not new that you're doing, but it's like it's different for you as well.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like when it's that artist outside the box kind of different experience, because I think you get more of an organic experience from the artist.
Yeah.
But then also as an artist doing that, you get, especially when those nerves are there. That's when it's something new and
It's
fun.
raw, yeah.
Yeah, it's raw. It's good.
And I do like scaring the shit out of myself, but I was nervous, just. Can I cuss? I keep cussing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think we had talked in like February when I first tried to get a date, and I remember you like I was looking at these dates today, and I remember like the very next day after you were like, okay, August 20th, you were like, so I'm trying to go through all my process and shit. How long do I have? And in my brain, I was like, oh, he's preparing. Like February to August, that's a good amount of time. So I got super excited.
Yeah.
I did.
But it's like I prepare, but I don't want to. I don't know.
Over prepare.
It's just how your mind plays tricks on you. I mean, I think this will be the first time I ever read a poem.
I'm a fangirl, but I'm just stoked.
See, that's super cool because like that's.
I read poems all the time. I'm nervous as shit, so it's never gonna get really better. But
right.
Well, that'll resonate.
There, but you're gonna kill it.
That'll resonate with
And
everybody
you're way
really
better
cool too. Like that'll be super cool though. That's like we got the feature that's doing like some first time stuff up there. Like I think that's super cool.
Yeah, and like she said, I mean, it's just it always has been a great community, and it seems to push out creativity with people who aren't necessarily comfortable at first, and then you get to see them become something else, because there's so much talent, especially in the city and surrounding areas where they don't even know, they haven't, it's there, but they haven't pushed it, and so you see, I remember seeing some kids at some of the first ones that Bobby and you threw that were, nervous. Like you could hear their voice cracking, and then to come back and see them kind of get that confidence. I mean, it's empowering for anybody. Yeah. I think that's the kind of language this community needs more of, is to see people be empowered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just get stoked.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about being stoked anyway.
Right.
And that's what the motivation is. Yeah.
That's what we do anything for.
Yeah.
That's why we skate.
Yeah.
That's why we hit that ledge over and over again. Because when you landed, all your friends are like, oh,
yeah.
it feels good,
It's all a rush, and I feel like all rushes definitely have a core of fear.
Yeah. I mean,
and you just kind of get through it, and I know
the fear is the payout, right?
I
mean, that's what you have to give.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like a come down.
Yeah.
Almost every time I host, I'm super shaky afterwards. It's really odd, but necessary. Again, just necessary.
But that's good. I mean,
feeling,
when any kind of experience is like that, to leave you physically,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing. And even like I said, when I perform, it's like that too. I get so nervous, and then once I do it, it's just this.
Like you're Superman.
Yeah, it's just a release. Yeah, and and you're connecting with people, and that's cool, because music is like a universal language. It's something that transcends anything. It doesn't, somebody could like my stuff who doesn't even understand English.
Absolutely.
And I
have a couple songs like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once it's just a beautiful thing, and I think that's such a base language that we can all get behind. That it's just a beautiful thing, and then poetry's the same way. I feel like it's very rhythmic, and it's very raw. There's that's another thing that makes me nervous, is that I don't have the buffer of beats and
I was going to ask you in relation to music essentially being poetry. I feel like as a writer, when you do poetry, you're obviously, I won't be I can't say I'm a musician, because there's obvious things that aren't around to make it a song, instrumentally example. Anyways, but as a musician, you can definitely be I'm also a poet.
Yeah.
Do you not? Have you never considered yourself that?
Well, I guess I always considered
Because I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I always considered myself a writer, maybe because that's what my dad was. But I never just you know, I mean, and I love like Saul Williams, and I always like look at what he does is like it's so poetic, but he's also a musician. So I mean, I guess I'd probably just give myself a hard time too much, because I mean, there's people who would consider or who would say that I wasn't a musician either, you know, because I don't really play an instrument, and if it's just me, I'm playing a drum machine. So, but
well, you know, the voice itself is an instrument,
right.
Oh.
Well, and actually, I had an episode. Guy was it episode 34. If y'all want to go check it out, I'm talking in like future tense. I haven't even posted it yet.
I was like, is it up?
Not quite.
I didn't think I've
but
seen
no,
that
it's
number three.
this kid Ian Rao. He came in. He does he's been like he only started 3 years ago, but he does like beatboxing.
Okay.
But he does like the competition beat. Well, he's about to start competing because he's part of this TeamSpeak thing that you know, like they all get on and do their pieces. But he does everything. He does the deep voice. Sounds like a dubstep remix just with his mouth.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
and he did it on your last show.
Yeah, he did it on the show.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's yeah. So everybody go check out that episode. 'Cause it's gonna come out before this one. So everybody go listen to it. Yeah, totally promise. Well, yeah, man. So I guess I get to a part in every episode where I ask the artist, because the biggest reason why I made the podcast was to inspire others to do, you know, just like keep doing what art they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've just met a lot of people that are real down on themselves, like specifically on their artistic expressions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll be like, "Oh, there's this, but it's whatever." I mean, we all say that,
Right? Absolutely.
But there's a lot of people that, you know, want to get more serious about it, but don't think they can, or kind of on that old like logical saying, whatever it was back in the day, where it was you know, you never be anywhere being an artist, or you never get anywhere doing artistry.
Right.
So like I wanted to make this to show that, you know, like artists aren't alone. But the question is what could you say from your personal experience, just with your music and your poetry, and how you started creating your art form? What you could maybe say to someone that maybe down on themselves about it, or maybe trying to create it, or maybe just want to try a new thing, kind of like how it was for you. You know, it was just a new thing.
I mean, the best advice I ever got, and it works and all, is scare the shit out of yourself. I mean, you know, like if you want to create. You may not end up immediately finding what you're going to create, but just keep trying to create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just express yourself in that way. And I think that's important because, you know, like you said, so much of that artistic kind of mentality is frowned upon, I guess, especially nowadays, you know, when people are talking about no social security and, like, you know, you got to go to college and stuff and do stuff this way, and there's this whole formula to do it. I mean, I definitely, I'm like 40 something years old and I'm still doing it, and it still moves me enough to keep doing it. I mean, but if you find something like that, it's better than anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's a true motivation, and it exists outside all these worldly things. It's something inside of you and inside of that universe that you create, and you're giving it to people. And so be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, give of yourself, even if it scares you, because you just never know. I mean, and do it and do your work without the promise of a reward, of something monetary or something. You know, just do your work and see what happens.
For you.
Yeah, see what you have inside you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all you can do, and I think it's important in times like these, you know, like, and I always think that in times like political times like we're in right now, you see an abundance of good art, an abundance of good music come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're dealing with so much controversy, just you know, like chaos and miscommunication, like you see, like, you know, like when Reagan was president, how really good, you know, punk music came out, like Bad Brains, and, you know, just stuff like that. I mean, I think it's to just try, just be there, be vulnerable, give of yourself, be selfless, you know, just try to create. I think that's the most important thing you can do.
Absolutely. And create it for your, for you and for the love of it,
Yeah, exactly.
Don't chase it. I did like what you said earlier when we were talking about how, like it wasn't a competition or anything.
Yeah.
You just wanted to be better for yourself.
Right.
And I saw that. I don't know if y'all know Jordan Peterson. He was like a professor at a Canadian college, but now he's like a motivational speaker to just like pragmatic thinking.
Oh, okay.
I will after this.
Yeah. Jordan Peters is awesome. I mean, he can talk like really just like super smart and throw a bunch of big words, so sometimes it might make you want to fall asleep.
Right.
On some of his like lectures, because it gets me, but it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing he was talking about, he was just like, man, because of a lot of people fall into it, with social media and things, but a lot of people kind of make their craft competition with everyone else. Like they kind of see, you know. They see everybody's best version of themselves online, so
there's
you're
a bunch of comparison, unnecessarily. So.
But he was saying what you should do is like you said, like be a competition with yourself, like in the sense of like, okay, if you're really trying to one up somebody, how about you one up what you just did, yesterday, or if you're really trying to achieve something here and you want some competition, how about you one up, like what you want to do with your business or your craft, or
like internally focused.
like what do you need to do that, like because he said when he stopped looking at everybody else as a competitor and started just focusing on his craft while just doing the best he could for people along the way, it just got success by default. When you take that shiny golden thing out of the headlights, because it's totally different.
Because when you're dealing with everything based off everything else, you're just gaining all this weight. And if you just slim it down and focus on your own, you can trim the fat, and you get to a more efficient way of making music or saying what you want to say, or purifying the mind mouth connection, like what you think you want to say and how it's coming across, like you're making it more pure by doing it, like just fighting with yourself. Because I mean, you see a lot of that in music and art, if people think you're trying to take their spot, and it makes it really kind of bums me out, because I don't really want to take anybody's spot. I want to watch you do what you do, and it's going to stoke me, but I mean, I'm just trying to find my own spot, what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and
you're trying to get your run at the sesh. That's all.
Exactly. That's all it is,
All it is.
And skateboarding to me is like a perfect example of that, because you go skating with 9 people and 9 people are skating, but they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But they're existing in this micro community right now, and they're giving each other props. They're sharing the stoke. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that if more communities work like that without the promise of getting something, or being better than somebody. Yeah. Because, you go to the skate park sometimes and there's that one kid who just wants to be better than everybody. Yeah. And people
Nobody likes that kid.
But they don't respond to it. And then eventually that kid learns chill out and just have fun, because fun is the ultimate reward anyway.
Exactly. Because we were all at that spot, that's what, like I remember when I was just coming up skateboarding, going to, it was like right when downtown skate park, when Joe Jamel's skate park downtown first opened. I was in 8th grade. I was just getting into it. Yeah. Like seriously, like I was like riding as a kid, with these boards, but I didn't really get like serious about it until 8th grade. But I went, man. There were some kids just like messing with me because I kept busting my ass going down this little ramp part. And it really got to me, but
those kids don't skate now.
Exactly, they probably
they don't skate now.
They probably don't, or or maybe maybe they do, but maybe they realize like, man, like we're all at this point.
Yeah, but that mentality doesn't keep you skateboarding.
No, absolutely not.
So
absolutely
either you
not.
change or you don't.
Cause I remember how that is, for a little bit. Like when I was a teenager and we started doing bombing the garages and stuff, and it was HGR. Shout out HGR, they still go on today. We still go skate downtown every now and then. But, for a little while, there was like different kids that were coming in and doing all kinds of different stuff. Or, because one of our big things was like wear helmets in the garage. Right. Because, if someone falls, cracks their head, kills the spot, we can't go back. Right.
It's not about your head. It's about the spot.
Yeah, it's about the spot. It's not. It's about the spot.
No mistake.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but like some people come through and just act all high, and actually we've had a spot blown because someone got wrecked, and weren't wearing gear, so I think that's a huge thing that also develops, and with things like art and with skateboarding, especially skateboarding, since it's a trial by fire. I mean, you get hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
It's definitely taught me a lot of lessons along the way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's helped me deal with pain along the way, with a lot of different things too.
But it teaches you to be resilient, and even if it's a small thing that you want, you just keep going for it. Even if it's just 3 seconds.
Yeah.
The trick itself is 3 seconds, but you roll away and you get that 5 seconds of elation, and that's all. And you know, it's not tangible.
Yeah.
You can't put it in your pocket, but you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that taught me that some rewards aren't, you know, tangible things. They're not physical things.
Yeah. And it feels good too, because some tricks are scary, you know. Like,
yeah.
But you want to do it, even though there's an infinite number of bad things that can happen if you go try it. But at the same time, when you just go for it and overcome it, but you feel, you know, because it's well earned when you land a solid trick, you know. And
Amen.
yeah, so it feels really good.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how simple it may be, man. It depends on, you know, if you just got fresh out the car, you got car legs or whatever you got. You just started skating again, but
That's the thing, car legs?
Oh yeah.
When you're skating?
Well, if it's been like a long car ride and we just get to the park and I'll just throw it down and I got car legs and I'll bust that.
Jump on and fall
You
off.
gotta stretch it out.
You gotta stretch, man. Oh well, shit, man. Well, man, it's been really cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on.
Did we want him to maybe
You want to do a piece?
Some, maybe?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like you want to close it out with a
nice.
piece of any kind. Almost forgot. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Nice way to close.
Absolutely.
Let me see.
No, not these.
Actually, be fine. These damn things.
All right. Now, God forbid my epitaph would ever read restless. See, I don't plan to tread light nor let God speed that death kiss. 'Cause I've been bent backwards for due dates and last rites, letting that light lit the pavement purple, but it cast bright shadows which slant to our sides so slight is the resemblance that our remembrance spoke broken at best, provoking our rest to awake wide open. See, life is fast and our only token is breath, and these moments stolen from the timeline only assure that it's told in depth. Asserting virtue in a vehicle trimmed in golden rims which mumbles incoherent, obviously apparent to none of them, but see, my vessel will shred its threshold humbled and stumble into the room, catch some fresh air in its lungs, and then return to its tomb. See, it's too soon to assume that we can't have an effect, and I'd put good money on the fact that it ain't about cashing a check. So when boredom beats the floorboard and the broad split, go ahead and let that skiff adrift, just risk it, kid. It ain't gonna be spotless, it's on some odd shit, having to poke and prod it until that heap reaps scalding, probably for nothing more than the lesson learned. And I caught that protocol disassembling the due process, blow it off, as I thought provoke emotion and brave wave, but display ways that we could break tradition without the interest being conflicted. See, but they restricted the movement, and upon further improvement, you can see that hope is just an emotional girl. She spells happy backwards because she can't find a place to twirl. Curled up, worlds away, hurled the blade just to engrave the nameplate permanent, turning it so loud that the sound will seep through the tourniquet. Thanks.
Ooh. I gotta breathe too, Flynn.
Man, see, this is gonna be so dope. I'm excited.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome, dude. I appreciate you coming. I'm glad we finally got to do this, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for those that don't know, we've been trying to plan this out for a while.
We've been standing each other up for months.
Right.
I'd say nicely execute.
Yeah.
Yeah, just back and forth. We've been trying, but then, you know, Emily brought us together. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I mean, because I did think about that too, though, when we kept rescheduling. I was like, man, we're probably going to do this podcast anyway.
Yeah.
With the poetry night. And I think it's great.
We talked a while. I mean, since last year, I think we just threw around the idea, and I needed to book out through January.
Yeah.
So it's down.
Absolutely. Well, man, where can do you have any of your work on like SoundCloud or any music online?
It's evac.bandcamp.com. I think there's like 5 of my albums up there.
Sweet, and that's EVAK.
Yeah, evak.bandcamp.com, and everything's pretty cheap or free. Donation based.
Word. Fantastic, man. I'll be sure to put the link in the description and everything. People go check it out.
Well, thank you, brother.
All right, you're welcome, man. All right, Emily, appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Always.
again,
Most
and
of the
All right, and we're gonna be. Everybody, please come check out. If you come to Galveston, Texas, first and third Tuesday of every month. I don't know why I have to pause on that every time.
I pause on it too.
Come check out come check out the Coastal Soul Poetry Night at Proletariat Gallery, downtown Galveston, first and third Tuesday of every month, and be on the lookout for more featured episodes. Appreciate y'all. Artisan Dev Podcast, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, give us a follow, turn on notifications so you can hear when new episodes come out, and just stay tuned for more badass shit. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments if you want to argue about anything. As I always say, I love it.
Does that happen?
I want some trolls. I haven't had my friend troll me.
Someone talk shit to me.
Please. All right, y'all.
So
Have a good night.